Welcome to I Heart Geek.
And welcome to another WandaVision episode of I Heart Geek.
WandaVision.
Yay. Oh, such a fun episode.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's do this real quick. I'm Dub, I do stuff. I'm here with Courtney, who does stuff, and Toby, who does stuff, and Chris, who, well, he does stuff too. So thank you all for joining. And I want to do a special thank you and welcome to the writer who likes to take our stuff and put it onto certain websites in order of our exact wording. I'm not saying anything, but if that's you, bite me.
We know who you are.
At least give us a credit, please. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah. Anyway, so WandaVision.
At least it's a compliment.
Was subtle.
Right.
Well, I didn't mention the names. That's next. Okay, so let's jump right in. Are we starting with the music this time, or was there
Let's do it. There's before the music, before the credits scene, we've got Wanda still in her Scarlet Witch costume,
which was outstanding. No,
underneath the covers, and we're given the dose of stuff is starting to glitch in the world because the kids start telling her about it. And then we launch into the credit scene.
I want to throw out two things real quick that I noticed from this. Something that was brought to my attention from a listener. Every time that Wanda says last time on WandaVision, if you keep listening to them, they're sounding more and more depressed every time. It's a different ADR every time. And welcome to WandaVision. And this one was last time on WandaVision. So she
did not notice that.
Definitely sinking down that pit of despair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the next one, if you're one of those people that looks for the hexagons, you'll notice the Vision's pillow, who he wasn't there, but Vision's pillow had hexagons.
And so does the duvet cover.
And Wanda's does not.
Yeah, so does her
I
comforter.
don't know if that's a thing. Oh, there we go. I love that whenever I make Chris
do like 30 seconds in.
It's a new record.
But something I really noticed really hard about the hexagons this episode, especially when you're and I know we're getting to it, but when you look at the full hex, the outside view of the hex, since you're getting half of it, it looks like one of those little perfect houses.
Well,
that's a good catch.
It could be a tent. But the other thing that it could be is a Tesseract.
Like Monopoly. Oh, it is sort of Tesseract-esque.
Well, I mean, that only goes to show it goes underneath.
Yeah.
It must extend underneath.
We'll get to that.
Yes.
We'll get to that.
Well,
Something we have to talk about on that.
Go ahead.
It does.
We have to talk about that one.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk about the music. This is how we like to start. What did you guys notice there was no lyrics, quote unquote, this time, but there was still stuff that was said in the intros.
Yeah, there was a lot of information in the intros. So Dub caught a couple that I didn't catch, so I'm going to let him go. The only one I caught, I have to honestly say, was the license plate that flashes on. It says Wanda has a series of numbers above the Wanda, and it is Stanley's birthday.
That was a nice touch, I think.
Wasn't it like 122822 or
something like that.
It's December 28th, 1922 is when he was born, and it says 12/28/22 above it. So it's kind of like Stanley's cameo into WandaVision. But Duff caught more than I did. So.
Okay, now when I was pausing the this as we went, because I noticed there's this big sentence that you can't catch because it's up for less than a second. So it took me about 4 times of rewinding. Finally got the pause on it. It says, I know what you're doing, or what's the exact?
I know what you're doing, Wanda.
Yeah, I know what you're doing, Wanda. Which is kind of interesting.
That's in the sort of ransom note cutout of the different different letters.
Yeah.
That was definitely a I don't know if that was from Agatha. Spoilers.
Yeah.
I don't think it was at all.
I don't think it was.
I think that we have more than one big bad. I think that we're I think if
Definitely.
you think it's one big bad, they definitely have you smoked at this point, Blythe.
Yep. Yep.
Didn't-
We'll get into that because I have a lot of stuff
Okay,
where it
we'll wait
points
on
to
that.
another big bad. But wait.
Okay.
Oh, there is one thing I did catch, and this
Okay.
is a reach and only just a thought. So this could be wrong. This could just be me. The calendar is Friday the 10th is circled with a heart. And I know we know that at the beginning, but
Mhm.
what never dawned on me in the first episode is Friday is the counterpoint to Jarvis. When Jarvis got sucked into Ultron and then got turned into Vision, the program that Tony uploads into the Iron Man software is Friday. I don't know. It just
I forgot. Oh,
that was just
because that's his birthday. Remember going back to the first episode? Is it a birthday?
he didn't know what it was. None of them knew what it was. And it was supposed to be
Oh,
dinner
that's
with the
beautiful.
Hearts. The dinner with the Hearts, who was their boss.
Yeah.
But why are we seeing the same thing? Why are we seeing the calendar with the heart circled on Friday the 10th? So that's just, that could be nothing. That could absolutely be nothing and just something.
I don't
but
think it is
think
nothing.
it's nothing.
kind of like a little deep dive I went on.
If I've learned anything about the MCU in my pretty much 3 weeks of watching all the movies, I have one more to go. Everything means something. So
Mhm.
he didn't
Everything.
just like the I know what you're doing, Wanda. Like when we were rewatching it last night, I was like, hold up a minute. What does that say? It's like every little I think we touched on this a couple episodes ago where, all the dialogue and everything they say and do, it has weight and it has meaning and
Yeah.
it has consequences to what's going to happen the rest of the way.
Okay. Well, let's wrap up this part because we're still we're not even out of the
We're not even
theme
out of
song
the
yet.
gate.
Okay.
We're in
Of
the
course,
credits
it's
right
The
now.
Office. It's very office-y sounding music. The intro looked a lot like a show called Happy Endings, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the Russo brothers had a part of it, and the Russo brothers have a big part of the Marvel universe, so that might have been a little thing. The end is the Modern Family font, so it gives you that. And then, again, it could be nothing, but on the magnets it says Wanda, and on the top is a B, and on the bottom of it is an S, and that's the only other letters you see. So I don't know if it's Wanda BS. What's going on?
Huh.
That could be a
I have a
throwaway.
Be like the
feeling-
Friday thing.
No, I don't think it's a throwaway, but it might be referring to something that I and Chris would not be aware of in that universe, just because there are no accidents in the way that I've never seen a show, even in the Marvel universe, so deeply designed.
Actually,
Like,
I'm not
every
going to agree
aspect
with
is
you because
deeply designed.
I think you can go back and watch some of these, and it's just as deep. We just didn't catch it because we weren't
That's
doing.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, we weren't doing as many shows like this that are like, oh, well, we're going to pick apart every detail.
Oh, I see. You're
What
saying
did you say about
previous
the
I think it's always
movies?
there.
Yeah.
versions.
I think
Okay.
every movie it's there,
Okay.
Yeah.
and I appreciate that. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
as much of a DC guy as I am, this makes me love the Marvel universe.
It's meticulous. And I think Satomi said it last week that because they're such short episodes, they only have so much real estate to tell us the story with.
So they use every square inch.
Every single bit of it is important in some way. There's really not any throwaways at all. What they mean, we don't know.
Yeah,
but
which is fun. Okay, so here's the real quick rundown of the pre-credits stuff so there was no Vision in bed. We got that. Wiccan is going into overload with all the new people. So that says something that's really, because he could handle it before. He can't handle it now because he was hearing, 100 people. Now he's hearing 1,000.
It's too noisy.
It's too noisy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. If you watch the TV the episode with subtitles, I recommend doing it because you're going to find stuff you missed.
Yeah, there's stuff in the background.
When she's making breakfast, you see the TV call letters are WNDA, Wanda TV, which I thought was clever.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
That's hysterical.
And they make the comment that, well, we hope you got all your little let's see. All the kids are out last night, so we hope you got all your little ghosts home. I hope that I'm wrong on that. I don't want to think that the kids are all dead and they're ghosts, but that could definitely be. That's again. I hope I'm wrong on that. I don't think that I'm right on that, but I thought that was kind of an interesting little throwaway, and the fact that you had to watch subtitles to catch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, people are molecularly changed by being in the hex.
Mhm.
So it
Mhm.
may not be a reference to death, but rather a reference to a transcendence of
Or a
sorts.
ghost in the
Yeah.
shell. Yeah.
One thing I will say that we'll bring up later, the milk bottle changing with the missing picture that we
From
can't
Oh
make
almond
my
Yes.
God,
out.
who was
fatty
that?
milk.
Who was that?
Who was that?
I think it's the kid Agnes bit.
Oh.
Because in the story, the witches eat kids, but now we've just spoiled the Agnes reveal.
Well,
I'm a terrible
okay.
human
you're
I'm
being.
listening
sorry
to
if you
this-
watch. If you're listening to
You
this,
know,
I guarantee
yeah.
you better have
Yeah.
watched the episode first.
I think it's
Yeah.
the kid Agnes bit because in the old fairy tales, witches eat children.
Actually, you know what? I want to. Any of our listeners who listens to the show before you watch the episode, I want to
Sorry.
know. No, I'm not apologizing. I just want to know. Is that make the show better for you? I'm just curious. Put it in the comments. Hey, let's see. So we're going on to scene 2. Let's see. There is no more TV. So who is she broadcasting to? Because it's obviously still a broadcast. Who is the signal going to?
I don't think there is a signal anymore.
But
there
it's
is,
still being
because that's what we're
directed.
watching.
It's still being directed.
Is it? I missed
Is-
that part.
Well, I mean, with the otherwise we wouldn't have the what are they called? The talking heads and all that stuff, because it's still being a show.
Maybe she's putting on the show for the people inside the hex to
That's
keep
what I
them
was
under
thinking. That's a good thought.
control.
That's possible.
That's because I noticed that both times I watched that, they mentioned that they lost the signal, but it's still going on. Like,
Mhm.
who's
That's a good
watching
catch.
Wanda's
Yeah.
show?
That's a good catch. Yeah.
Now, Paul Bettany, I will love him with anybody.
He
But
is
him and
hilarious,
Darcy,
man.
it's beautiful. I love seeing this match, and it's I thought I liked Darcy.
We had a
Darcy
connection.
and what's his name, and the FBI
Jimmy.
agent and
Jimmy
Jimmy.
Woo.
I like that, but I really like her and Vision.
I think
He
it's just
actually makes
Darcy.
her a better actress.
I love
And
it.
she's
Well,
not the
part
best
of it
actress
is-
in the world, but
Part of it is you've got in that case you've got a straight man to her comedy.
Yeah.
Comedy.
Yep.
And when it's her and Jimmy, you've got two comic characters, which is why you always need the straight one to sort of, set
Balance
off.
it out.
balance it.
Yep.
I love the fact that she's the escape artist.
Oh yeah.
That
And they
says
make us
something.
a point
you
of they make
wonder.
us a point of telling us
Uh-huh.
she's
Twice.
the escape artist.
Twice they say it.
Yep.
And when
Yeah.
she breaks out, she's like, and I'm done.
Right. Right.
Which was kind of nice. Okay,
Mhm.
let's hop on to scene 3. She's out of control. She has no answers, and she realizes it when she faces her kid, and she realizes I don't know. I think that we're getting back to where she actually was in the beginning before she thought that she was putting on the show. I think that she's a weapon. She is not the person at the trigger.
I think we were right that she's not in control.
And I don't think it's all okay. Spoilers. Let's get out of the way. I don't think it's just Agnes.
No.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, at
We got
all.
With
lots-
Agatha
we
and
got lots of
Mephisto
them.
and a bunch of other people and Hayward all.
There's
All
3 of them. I
along.
think there's 3 of them.
But
Well, I think 2
But
of them
if-
are working together. But yeah.
if I may pose a question to all y'all,
Okay, poser.
why
Bad jokes. sorry.
why would whoever is controlling Wanda let her seem she's in control until this point?
I
Like,
think my opinion.
yeah.
Do we want to wait on this, Courtney?
Yeah, maybe till
Let's
we get
wait
to
on this till the end.
Maybe till we get to
Okay.
the lair and we see
Yeah,
the
because-
dark holes.
And I'll
Okay.
tell you.
Okay.
I'll tell you why in a minute.
Yeah,
Okay.
we
Okay.
got some good stuff coming for us. Don't
But
worry.
again, that this
Okay.
does come down to more than one bad guy.
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
we're right. We've been saying that all along, and I think we're 99% correct on
Yeah.
that.
And then the Agnes biting the kid reference. We talked about that for a second. And
She drops a lot of
That's funny.
hints that she's
she
a
eats
witch.
kids.
She drops. There's a lot of hints throughout.
She's the Hansel and
before
Gretel
we get-
witch.
Yeah, before we get to the big reveal of who she is that we already knew, But there
been
throughout
saying
this
for a while.
episode, there's a lot of witch references. Like she has the mole on her back, which women who had moles in Salem were considered to be witches because it was the devil's mark. And then there's she made the reference to eating kids. I mean,
If I may, something I noticed when she goes to show the mole or whatever, the mark, and she didn't say mole, she said mark. Or no, she didn't say mole.
she says mole.
says
She
mole.
says mole. When she pulls it up, it cuts away the exact second that you would see it. We don't get to see it, but Wanda and the kids did. Look at their faces, and they are in disgust.
That's because she's showing somebody their mole. I mean, if somebody did that to you, wouldn't you be like, I don't really want to look at that?
As a 9-year-old, I'd be like, yeah, cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And I think the cutaway was very, very on purpose.
Yeah.
Well,
You see their eyes, it's like could be.
I think I personally, I think they're just playing on the old joke of, oh, you're a doctor. Can you take a look at my wart?
Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah, it's just a drop hint that she's going to be a witch, but we already knew that.
Yeah. Okay,
So.
scene 4. Okay, yeah, that one goes forward. Okay, scene 4, codename Cataract, because it's for Vision.
Vision.
Come
I'm
on.
not the only one that went, really?
Oh,
Really,
no,
Hayward?
I think
Really?
I was confused. I was confused by it when I watched it. I'm like, cataract? And then you just blew my mind again. So thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want that ATV for my very own because it's beautiful. And I
The
know
one that she
the
tries to
space
get into the
ATV?
hex with?
yeah, so
that's
we
cool.
are in scene 4, yeah.
Ooh, that thing's cool.
Her version of Perseverance.
Yeah. So much fun.
Right.
Yeah, and I hate to say the scrolls are here.
They
and
probably are.
The
Scrolls.
It's
Oh, the
not going to be
scrolls.
really important to you guys yet, but you will hate them coming in the future soon. Probably
The way they're
next
portrayed
episode.
in Captain Marvel is not the way they are in the comic book.
No, I don't like either of them, to be completely honest with you. If
Oh,
you're a
was that
Battlestar
the-
Galactica, it's kind of the same thing as Cylons.
Okay.
They're shape-shifting alien race.
Yeah, that
Got
get
you.
their
Now I
hands and
remember.
everything.
Yeah.
Now there's some people that might say that this this offshoot of Sword that decided to help Monica were Skrulls. Was in fact the Skrull that she was playing with in the in Captain Marvel.
Talos' daughter.
Yeah.
Oh.
They say that
It's
and again, I try to stay away from Skrull stuff because I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
That's one of the theories too, about the aerospace engineer, is that it could be Talos' daughter, who is the young Skrull in Captain Marvel. But the 3 biggest ones I hear is Talos' daughter, and I'm not sure I buy that one. It could be the Blue Marvel, Adam Brashear, because he dated Monica in the comics. I don't know either.
Not
and then the big
reveal.
one is that it's Reed Richards, and this is how they introduce the Fantastic Four into this universe. So keep your eyes out, listeners. And if you have any other theories who you think the aerospace engineer will be, remember the actress who plays Monica Rambeau said it's going to be a big deal and she can't wait to see people. So if you have any ideas, comment below.
And that's why I don't think it's going to be the Blue Marvel, because he's too obscure of a character.
He's pretty obscure. He's cool, but he's obscure.
He's somebody that I barely know of, and I'm like into comics.
Well, like just listening to the theory about the Skrull, I feel like if they put them into this show, it wouldn't make sense because that's it would pull focus.
But it's not the first mention we've seen on this episode on the show either.
No, I know.
It says on the board Skrulls when they were doing their
Jimmy writes Skrulls on the board,
Skrulls.
the whiteboard in episode 3 or 4. You know that whiteboard that he does where they're trying to figure out where Vision is, and it says Skrulls with a question mark. So it's been thrown out there.
Is the aerospace engineer that we are referring to
the one they called?
The one that Monica called. He hasn't shown up yet.
Oh, okay.
Or she.
I thought it was the gal who brought
Goudreau?
Perseverance. No.
Okay.
She brought it. I assumed when they started the scene and they were driving up and we saw the encampment, I'm like, okay, well, here we go. Now we're going to see who the aerospace engineer is. They haven't shown us who that person is yet.
Yeah.
So
let us know
I
what
think
you
if
guys
they're
think it is.
waiting,
I think it's
for
Reed.
Reed Richards, it's going to be a last episode kind of reveal.
And well, because they kind of let you forget about it.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's smart.
So if your theories,
writing. So yeah.
rock stars, if you have any theories, hit us up with them.
Maybe we'll probably talk about them next episode. Or maybe a writer will steal them. Okay, scene 5. Okay, this is my biggest takeaway.
What is scene 5?
Scene 5 is with back to Darcy and Vision.
Okay.
And Vision, this is what tweaked me out because he cannot reproduce. He's a synthroid. He is not human. Mm-hmm. He is not mutant. He is a robot. And he still believes the children are his. He goes, how are my children?
Yep.
That says a lot.
Mm.
And then this when I believe
the commercial?
He also said something.
No. Okay, go ahead.
He says, I feel like it all, because this is going to go back to what we talked about over the last couple of weeks with Vision. It feels like it all happened to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a hit, but I'm gonna hit it because you said it.
Okay. do it because we're gonna argue about it. So
this has been bothering me. Okay, everybody knows that I've been a huge proponent that the Vision we're seeing is not our Vision. He is a Vision from a different universe because she can't bring back the dead. He still has the stone in his head. A multitude of things, and in scene 9, we'll get to that. But in scene 9, he says, man, all these horrible things happened to her. For me, it just feels like it happened to somebody else. That is not a throwaway line. He is not our Vision. Okay, go ahead, Courtney. Debate.
That could be correct, but I don't agree. I think he is our Vision. The only one I think that's been pulled from the multiverse is Pietro. But you could absolutely be 100% correct about Vision, and I would totally get it. And I mean, I do like that they brought up the fact that, I mean, Darcy tells him she had to kill you. She sort of said it sort of worked, and then the bad guy came back and reversed time and then killed you again, and she had to watch. Yeah. I like how she's kind of driving home for Vision the things that Wanda's adored up until this. And the other thing that I really liked is in the scene you were mentioning where he's doing the interview, he even says for her, this was a couple weeks ago. And I think that's a big thing that people have to remember is when Wanda came back from the snap and took on Thanos, for her, it was 5 minutes ago that she had to kill Vision, and then he did it again in front of her. So, I mean, for her, it hasn't been 5 years. It's only been this short period of time, and now everything's going wonky-doo. So I like that they mentioned that. It's kind of driving home the fact that she has really got PTSD.
Yeah.
In that scene, I couldn't help to think of the Truman Show, in the sense like when like the utility workers and the kids were crossing the street, like every time they tried to get closer, like something would get in their way.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was funny. I don't know if they intended to do that, but that's what I thought of.
I thought that part was a little ridiculous, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because they could have just drove around. But the other thing that I don't know if it means anything. I think it's Vision who says, "Since when does it rain here?"
Mm-hmm.
Is that something to like?
I have a theory.
Talk about.
Go ahead.
I have a theory. So they're at a crossroads when all this stuff happens. What do you do at a crossroads in old myth? That's where you go to summon the devil and make a deal with him.
That's good.
And you have to remember, Vision flies off. Darcy's still at the crossroads.
Yeah.
As far as we know.
That's good. Yeah,
so I think
I like that. That's great.
That kind of is leading into my Mephisto theory that he's still around because There's a lot of little bitty stuff like that that points to the devil in mythology. And we know Mephisto is Marvel's version of the devil. So, yeah, once again, being at a crossroads, if you go to usually at night, but if you go to a crossroads, that is where you go to summon the devil and to make a deal with him.
Mm-hmm.
So why were we at the crossroads for so very long?
Waiting.
Huh.
Interesting.
That's just my thoughts.
That's a good one.
Like it.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Now we're on to the commercial. Let's hear what your guys. Let's hear Chris and Satomi. I want to hear what your thoughts are real quick.
I loved how they shot it, and it felt like one of those commercials you'd see on TV today. But could someone explain what Nexus is? Because I have no idea.
Hold yet. Okay,
We will.
we'll talk about it in like literally like 30 seconds. Satomi, did you
Yeah,
okay
we
with
will.
that?
I mean, please, I was a Charmed fan, so all I could think was the Nexus at the house, which is that place where, again, going back to your crossroads comment, where you're choosing your path, and even the disclaimers were hilarious,
Right?
Yeah.
The world doesn't revolve around you.
Or
maybe
does
it?
Yes. Or
I still
symptoms
think
may be
it's-
feeling your feelings.
I still think it's significant that it's the same actors every
time.
single time.
Mm.
Okay, and
Anyway.
which leads to this. Was she drugged? And if she was, is that Hydra still in charge of that? Are those Hydra agents that we've seen every commercial?
I still think it's her parents. But that's just me.
No, her parents are Magneto. It doesn't matter who.
We don't know yet.
We do.
We
Shut
don't know
up.
that
It
yet.
is. I'm going to blow that theory out of the water right now. It's not
Yeah.
her parents.
Tell everybody who the Nexus is.
The Nexus, actually, we looked it up, is a cross-dimensional alien called the Nexus, who lives in Florida for whatever reason.
Like
I
you
guess
do.
he-
Because it's Florida.
Because
Like you do.
He's Tyler's next door neighbor, I think.
Right.
But he can cross dimensions whenever he chooses cross dimensions at his own will. He's a very little known character.
Can he bring buddies along?
He just might.
I'm just
Ah,
saying.
Just saying, maybe that's a possibility.
He just might bring buddies along.
Or maybe she was drugged, and maybe she's losing control right now because her drugs are wearing off. But she was taking drugs too. But.
Because they said that taking Nexus would mean feeling your feelings and facing your destiny, or what, I can't remember what they said. So that sounds to me like the opposite.
Opposite of
that. It's more like a blue pill, red pill kind of moment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everything at this moment seems to be about choices.
Yeah. Oh, and P.S. If you look in the background right behind the pharmacist, there again might be nothing, but on one of the bottles it just says multi. Could be multivitamin, could be multiverse.
It's something.
Just wanted to throw that out there because I love that.
We're just gonna say it is.
It's a multiverse. It's a multiverse, guys. Yay!
So let's get to the most important thing the second most important thing that happened in the show.
Fire
Are
away.
we at that scene yet?
Yes.
What happens when Monica goes through the Nexus, through the hex?
Actually, that's what I had, but that's okay. Yeah, let's hit it.
What happens? We get
the exact same thing we called for the last
Photon!
4 weeks.
Yep, and I apologize to Deb because I told him her name wasn't Spectrum before, or I told her his name was Spectrum and not Photon. She goes by both call signs.
Yeah.
So my bad.
And I think she's going to go by Photon because of her mom
because of her mom. Yeah, her mom's call sign is Photon.
Makes more sense.
But when she's crossing through, we hear all of this stuff, and I love that the final thing we hear before she walks through and is finally free is if you learn to glow like your Aunt Carol, which is from Captain Marvel, because the young Monica asked if she could fly up halfway and meet Carol. And
don't cry.
Fury says, no, I didn't. I said hiccup. I said hiccup. Fury says, only if you learn to glow like your Aunt Carol. And now she glows because she's Photon. And one thing I have to say, I'm gonna posit this to everybody here and to our listeners. When she comes out and she looks around, Westview looks entirely different to her than it ever has. I think she's seeing Westview as it
For what it
really
is. Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think? Because everything is clothed in purple, which we later know to be something.
No. She's seeing more blues then. She sees
Purple.
purple later. Later, she sees purple because her eyes turn purple.
It's more purple
her
later.
eyes are
I am going to
blue.
say it's way purpler later.
I literally no, I'm not talking about her eyes.
I'm not
talking
either.
About the world.
No, that's what I mean.
Guys, I literally just rewatched it like 45 minutes ago.
So did I.
Okay, I it's purple, but I could be wrong. Maybe I've got my colors.
I think
it's more ultraviolet.
Blue.
It's ultraviolet.
Her eyes are blue.
Yes.
She's seeing the spectrum. Because she's Spectrum and Photon.
I love it.
No, we get it. We get it, Chris. We get it. We get it.
That's why I was going like this, because I had the perfect one line for.
I love it.
I think she's seeing the electromagnetic spectrum. Is what
she's
seeing.
I'll buy it.
And I think when her eye color changes, she's seeing different things. Yeah. There she's seeing the ultraviolet spectrum. I think when she sees purple, she's seeing the magical spectrum.
And can we just pause for a second and say how fantastic that actress, like, superheroes herself.
Mm-hmm. Oh
my
gosh!
As soon as she makes that transition, she becomes
superhero.
Is Spectrum. It's
so awesome.
Yeah, and she
was everybody
amazing.
Going? She's gonna do superhero landing. She's gonna do superhero landing.
Oh heck yeah! Heck yeah!
Well, me and Courtney anyway have been totally waiting for this since episode 2. I think.
Right.
Yes,
right.
We have.
I love it. I love the fact
you two have been waiting for this episode.
Yeah,
since episode 2.
I see, this isn't so much that we're gonna have the big theories anymore. This is more starting to reveal, like, well, we were right here, we weren't here. And that's what's. This is gonna be the funnest part of the show.
There's little things here and there still, but yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, now I have a question. Me and Courtney will disagree on. Why is Agnes concerned that Wiccan can't hear her thoughts? We had a discussion about this earlier. She looked genuinely concerned, like, but you're quiet, and she stopped. She looked over at him,
and
then she
because he said she's quiet on the inside.
Yeah. So why is she concerned that he can't hear her? Because we all know that she's just in a guise anyway, so she should be happy that she can't hear her.
I would be. I took it as she would be worried that she would be found out.
I took it as because the kids were in Agatha's house, that that was that's one spot where the illusion of the hex doesn't work.
We'll get into
kind of like that's my theory.
Okay. Those are good theories. Those are good theories for sure.
Well, so what do you think, Courtney?
My theory
I know you weren't buying into that she's scared.
No. My theory is that the kids are actually real, and she can't control them.
Well, they're real as far as being demon spawn.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean. But they're not people that she's created or people she's pulled into Westview or have been pulled into Windview. They're actually these mutant children, and because he knows there's something different about her, she can't control him, because if you notice the next thing, the children have disappeared.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a little bit of she doesn't want to be found out quite yet, to go along with you guys' theory, but I think it's also that she's by him saying that, she's discovering just how powerful he's becoming.
Yeah.
And she may not be able to control him.
I mean, she isn't it her that says, kids, you can't control them, in the episode that they're born in? Yeah.
Yeah, like 3 or 4. Yeah.
Yeah, that I mean, I buy that. I buy into that.
Yeah. And he's the only one that knows there's something different about her.
Or the rabbit.
That's because he has the
magical
powers.
Or Scratch.
Yeah, Mr. Scratchy.
Old Scratch, the devil.
Does the rabbit have significance as someone who?
I think so.
It's another
It's
one
a
of those
theory.
devil names.
I have
for
a
sure.
Yeah, Old
theory on it.
Scratch. Old Scratch is the devil.
Is the name
Oh.
for, Old Scratch is the name for the devil. And the character of Agatha Harkness is the mother of Nicholas Scratch,
Yeah.
who is also the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So
it makes sense now.
Yeah. So
There's
I
a
mean,
lot of
if you look
devil-
deep enough, the
there's a
devil's
lot of-
everywhere in this.
there's a lot of devilness in this.
Okay, now
Yeah.
we're gonna pop ahead a couple of scenes because we basically just discussed those to death anyway. In scene 10, I want to say something that nobody noticed, but there was a quick Dottie sighting. She's doing her roses.
Oh, we
When?
saw her
Huh?
I missed her.
when
Yeah,
Monica and Wanda are
fighting.
arguing.
Mm-hmm. And it
We
was
pop over
very
to Dottie.
specific that you saw her face
We pop over to
Ah.
Dottie.
just for
I
a
missed
second.
it.
But
Mhm.
I think that she is a bigger part than any of us
I
than
was
we've been led to believe.
well, she's going to be because she's being played by Emma Caulfield. So they wouldn't pay for that unless she were a bigger part.
Yeah.
But I was honestly obsessing maybe too much about the delivery guy who had fragile fragile stickers all over his
He also
deliveries.
had his suit, his uniform says Presto.
And if you look at his hat, it's a rabbit.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
It's Presto delivery service.
Presto delivery with the rabbit. Just I keep going back to that, but
This
again,
entire episode is loaded with magic references and devil references.
and most people aren't catching it. I mean,
No.
at all. People are only saying the big reveal at the end. There is so much. Please pay attention to these episodes, guys.
Yeah,
Don't sleep on them.
because there's so much.
Well, it's
do what
so
we do.
hard.
Watch it
There's
and
so
then watch
much.
again.
Yeah, but I mean, we're you guys are talking about stuff. I have rewatched it and still missing stuff because there's just so much, and some of them are in these like split second, cuts.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it so much fun.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Let's see. We had, of course, Agnes
I think-
interfering.
And I think we do need to bring up the fact that, at least to me, and I don't know how everybody else saw it, but at least to me, Agnes does not want Monica
No,
involved in this at all.
What'd
So
she say?
I
I'll
think-
hurt you or something like that if you get
No.
involved.
No, Wanda says, "Don't make me hurt you."
I thought
Yeah.
that was Agnes. Okay.
No, it's Wanda, but she says, "Young lady," something about young lady, you've had enough. But she literally sees them outside of her window and goes and puts a kibosh on the whole thing. And this is the second time
Her,
Agnes has tried to get rid of Monica.
which we really know that at the end of this. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Monica is going to play a huge part in fixing all of this.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, let's see. Where are we at now? Okay,
Chris, did you want to say something?
Yep.
I'm just like enjoying where this is going because it's because I thought, like, as you're talking about all the stuff, like with the mailman and that one shot of what's her name, who we haven't seen since the
Dottie.
second episode. Yeah,
Dottie.
it's just like my first reaction when I saw Dottie was like, "Oh my god, where has she been?" Like, I'm just like, I'm just sitting here. I'm just like, please entertain me. Please tell me all the things I want to know more.
and the space that she takes up on the screen, that wasn't a for nothing shot.
Oh no. Like, they wouldn't
Absolutely
waste
not.
like when the first episode, not the first episode, the first time I watched this episode, I was like, why would they waste a shot on her? And then when I rewatched it, I'm like, oh,
I'm still going to
Okay.
double down that I think she is Emma Frost.
I'll see if
She's
you're right.
definitely somebody.
That's what I double down on. Again, if I'm wrong, hey, I'm wrong. But it makes so much sense to me that she would be in there.
Definitely somebody, that's for sure.
Okay, let's see. Scene 12. This is the big one, kids. Dun, dun,
Ooh,
dun.
here we go.
Okay, let's start with the TV show. This is the first thing you see in the entire universe that's real. Yo Gabba Gabba is a real TV show. No other TV show has been real. I don't know if that means anything, but I think that, like we were talking about earlier, Agnes's house isn't in the Hex per se, and especially not her basement. Her basement is not in the Hex.
I think it might be it might be in the hex, but it's not affected by the
It's
hex.
not affected by, which is why there
You
was a
know,
real
maybe
TV show.
Maybe it's the nexus of the hex. See what I just did there?
Maybe at first.
Wait,
Maybe, but probably
I'm
not.
just throwing it out there.
Yeah, sorry.
If I was a betting man, what I said before with my little personal theory that her house is not controlled inside the Nexus, I would be a betting man just based on what you just said, Dub, about how, you know, we see Yo Gabba Gabba, and it's just like, yeah, she's not being controlled by whatever it is that's doing this, whether it's Wanda or Agatha or Mephisto.
Well, she may not be being controlled, but is she serving?
Well, the basement is still laced with magic.
Yes.
Well, that is a straight up temple.
Yeah.
Question.
Query.
What's with the glowing book? Because they spent a good 3 seconds on that.
There's a couple things it could be, but go ahead with what your first theory was.
Yeah, there's 2 theories of that. Oh, me?
Go ahead. Yes, you.
Oh, there's 2 theories. The one, it's called the Darkhold, which is her book that you sign when you make a deal with the devil.
Maybe.
But maybe. There's also another theory, and this one I kind of lead more to, is that it's the Necronomicon. I know I said that wrong.
Necronomicon.
Right. Necronomicon. Thank you, Dub. I did not know how to say that. I appreciate that. And that book actually straight up belongs to Mephisto.
I said it.
It's that book straight up belongs to Mephisto.
Okay. Which I think those are very viable. There's also the possibility that is one of the missing books out of Doctor Strange's library.
Which could be would you say the
Necronomicon?
Say it again. That thing, or it could be the Darkhold too. You know, because both of those books could come from Doctor Strange's.
Because that would, one of those books would be how you would control the multiverse.
And if you look, the power that goes around the book is an orange, yellowish glow.
That wasn't purple.
Where everything else is purple. And who has an orange, yellowish glow when he sets stuff up is Doctor Strange. Yes. So those are the theories.
One more.
We leave it up to you. He has another one. I don't.
It's not actually a theory, but this also does go throughout the Marvel universe because the whatever design that was, it could be a lot of things, but it's very, very similar to the vampire language in Blade. All the Blade
which
comics,
is also Marvel universe.
Which is also in the Marvel universe.
I have to tell, I tried to,
and that's dark magic. So
yeah, I tried to decipher the runes that are in the top that they focus on, but they're not Nordic.
They're not Nordic at all.
Yeah, so I can't.
I would know it if they were.
The closest thing that I could come up with is that they're possibly Atlantean,
which don't exist, so that's easier to do.
Agatha Harkness was at her. She actually dates back to the beginning of Atlantis before it disappears, but that's pretty obscure data too. So there is there's a Bahamut statue at the back of the basement, which is yes, when she first walks in, it's in the back of it, and then it pans up to see something else. But yeah, there's a Bahamut in the back, which for those who don't know is a goat god representing the devil.
The devil.
Yeah. So there's
Mephisto,
we
say
Mephisto. There's 2 other things about the basement that I have that I want to kind of float with everybody. Okay, so Dub asked me earlier, he's like, where are the kids? Well,
that's the most. I was going to ask that to everybody right now.
Well, let me see then. Okay, where are the kids? So let me ask you guys what you think, and then I'll tell you my theories. But because
if she didn't eat them or give them to
one's a Mephisto thing and one's not. So
there was another cage with another rabbit in it,
and the cicada. Yep.
So that's the only thing that kind of made me.
Yep.
What was the cicada? I like
the bug.
The little bug.
The bug.
Yeah.
The green.
I'm sorry.
The green bug.
She turned them into the animals. Those 2.
I think it's a definite possibility.
Because you
Or-
have the rabbit,
Yeah.
rabbit which represents magic,
Speed.
which could be
Speed.
Wiccan.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or it
And
could
then
be
the
quick. Or it could be
cicada,
speed.
when a cicada makes that noise that it makes, and when it shakes off its shell, it rattles at a super fast pace
Or
to
it could
shake
go
off its shell.
it could also go the other way with the cicada actually can quote unquote live forever because they hibernate for like 16 years at a time. So
Mhm.
that's its own magical thing. And then the rabbit is fast. It could be you could use either one.
Now, the other thing is both of the animals actually are in the basement. You see she's petting the rabbit when we
Mhm.
find out who she is. It's a very quick glance and cut. The cicada is on one of the walls.
Mm-hmm.
And they zoom past it really quickly.
After
the
you
other
see her son, so yeah.
They've got
Yeah.
a close up on that cicada.
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
it's real quick. There's a close up in the living room. There's a close up on the cicada, and there's a close up on the rabbit, and then she asks where the kids are, and then she goes down into the basement. The cicada is in the basement, as now is the bunny. So if it's the kids, they're following mom into the basement, into the dark hole chamber. That's a theory.
So
That's
smart.
just my
Well,
theory.
and the
Other
other
people
one-
are saying the cicada is Mephisto.
I don't buy that it's Mephisto.
So basically,
But
our
I have another
options
theory
are
with kids.
she either turned them into those two animals or she ate them.
No, I'll give you a third option. I don't think she ate them because I don't think the Disney's would
or
let that
Mephisto
happen.
ate them.
Well, I think that maybe she was. They gave the kids back to their daddy. She probably might have given the kids back to her daddy,
Who's Mephisto?
which is why she was there the whole time.
If that's the way they're going with this,
If that's the way they're going, yeah.
thing.
Yeah, and this
Anyways.
could be just torturing us comic geeks who think we know everything, you know.
Okay, so should we talk about the most important event of
Hold on,
the whole episode?
Make sure.
Are we there yet?
Yeah, we're there. Fire
most
away. I
important
know you
event?
want to talk about it.
Who's Agnes?
What we say since episode 2? Agatha.
Let's talk
Harkness.
about her theme song, shall we?
Oh, so catchy.
Monsters.
And-
It was
and that-
so great.
Were those the sexiest boots in the world that she wore going in there? I mean, oh my god.
Do you need a pair?
I kind of do.
He sent me a text. He's like, "Is it wrong that I think those boots are hot?" I'm like, "No, not at all." But yeah, the
Fantastic.
Munsters parody of it all,
It's
and that's
so
Catherine
pretty
Hahn
music.
singing it. By the way,
Mm-hmm.
that is her singing.
Fantastic.
Okay, and so it honestly, I don't think there was really too many surprises in this, except for that she was the one that was tweaking out the magic show, because I didn't think that was a thing.
Right.
Honestly, I don't think most of it was too much. And
I think the Pietro thing might have been a surprise for some people.
the Pietro was,
Yeah.
and I have another theory on that in a
as
second.
do I.
In a second, but let's wait till the end scene because that goes together.
Yes.
I think that it's kind of I was the one that said it, and y'all said no. You're full of crap. There's no way. Yes, she killed Sparky. I said that she killed Sparky, and y'all
She
looked at
even
me.
admits it.
Y'all looked at me like I was the biggest jerk in the world for
She
saying
even
it.
admits it.
There's no way. I just wanted to point that out. Okay.
See, I was so happy once her theme music started playing. I just totally forgot that we gave you so much crap about would Disney actually kill the dog or her kill the dog?
And that just made her so much more evil.
I was just dancing during it was Agatha all along, and her laugh at the end was just like so perfect.
Yeah,
like
so good.
It reminded me of the Wizard of Oz a little bit. Like she got the dog, like I'll get you my pretty and your little dog too, and that was her like looking right at us saying, "I got the dog too."
Mm-hmm.
It was great.
Now,
It was so
I
great.
will say that I got a little lost because of the conversations we've had on this podcast. Because you guys have talked so much about Agnes sort of taking Wanda
protector
on
role,
as
yeah.
her as a yes. So when she was admitting to being evil, I was like, but
She does
She-
both in the comics, but I think Deb
Okay.
and I were kind of focused on maybe Agatha being the helper.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that was our bet because she has been evil in the
Although it's also possible
comics.
that we're getting her at the outset of the relationship,
Yep.
perhaps, and we're going to see her
Or
get
the
her under
beginning.
her wing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
that's
Instead. That's
I
my
don't-
brain, sorry.
I don't know. I don't know if it's portentous of anything, but remember the Power Stone is purple.
Mhm.
There's just
And by the way, for whoever was saying, you know what? Go to our Discord, have fun. If you like the spoiler stuff, go to our spoilers page. I try to avoid it. But
we
there's
avoid it for the first couple of days.
there was
after
some
the
very
show.
interesting conversation about how we were so wrong on these shows because Agnes, you know, she was in that trance, you know, and then it explained it, and I felt
Did
so
I not say
vindicated for a
last
moment.
week? Did
Oh,
I
yeah,
not
we
say
both
last
said
week
that.
she was playing?
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
because she acted different than everybody else
Y'all
did
know
when
me.
they got.
Y'all owe me a Coke.
Y'all know your names.
Before we get to this surprise, I do want to say that okay, so how do we feel about Pietro? We know that she is controlling him because we see it in her theme song.
Mhm.
I personally think he is still the Pietro from another universe. I think
Mhm.
Agnes didn't know what Pietro looked like, so she just grabbed one,
Uh-huh.
thinking they were the same, and plopped him right in.
But
So whether he's part of it, whether he's not, I personally believe he is still Pietro Maximoff from the X-Men universe, and he is Magneto's son.
may I interject?
Of course, that's all I got.
I think you are 100% correct. But I do think that I've kind of changed my mind on I think that when he was walking around with Wanda, I think that he was possessed, just like we've seen that before with one Scratch, her son.
Or she was in control. I could see both of those
I think
theories.
it was her son, though. It just feels like it to me.
And
But
Agnes's son?
yes, Agnes's
Nicholas
son.
Scratch. If they decide to bring Nicholas Scratch into this world in the next 2 episodes.
Which is possible.
I mean,
But-
knowing them, I don't put anything past them at this point in time.
Mm-mm.
You know, since Agatha is controlling Pietro, my biggest question is, how did she bring this Pietro into this
The book.
universe?
I think it's the book. I think that's the
Or the
multiverse book.
Nexus monster.
Or the
That's the
Nexus,
Nexus
yeah, the
monster.
Nexus monster. Yeah, I'd say either one of
And
those.
that's an obscure
The
character, guys. But
the Nexus,
it's
the
fun.
Nexus alien, or the book. If it is Doctor Strange's book, and it's not the
it's such a great
not the
lead-in.
Darkhold, or not, or it's not the Deb. You're gonna say it again.
The Necronomicon. I don't think
That
so.
one?
Necronomicon.
Yeah.
Doo, doo,
If it's
doo,
not
doo.
one of those, and it is Doctor Strange's book, then that would be a way she could bring people in.
Is it also
Two.
possible that he actually is Nick Scratch posing as Pietro?
Definitely
Possible.
possible. But
which would explain
if
the
that
ending.
was, but
Yeah.
if that's the case, why would she have to control him?
What?
If he was Nicholas Scratch,
Yeah,
he'd be
that-
willing to do what his mom wanted.
Mhm.
He'd be willing to pretend
how
to
do-
be Pietro.
How do we know that she is that she's controlling him?
Because she said it in the
Because
song.
in the song, we see him standing in front of the door.
I know we see,
and you
but,
see the magic wrapped around him, the
but
purple
could
magic
that
wrapped
just be
around
because
him.
they're related?
I don't know, because she does
could
the
be,
flip where
but I
she's
have something.
controlling
She
it.
does.
I have something.
But you might be, maybe you're right.
Okay, so
I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out.
let's talk the post-credit scene that 90% of people did not see.
Missed.
There is, yes. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch the mid-credit scene, people. I missed
Okay.
it. Dub had to call me and tell me about it.
So, with that being said, I think that what you are seeing there is Pietro, because he is not acting the same as before. I think he's acting the same douchey Pietro that we see in the X-Men.
When he
is
tells,
very- yeah.
when he
Monica.
talks to Monica.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now,
And his eyes aren't going purple.
No, I think it's genuinely him at this point because the control's off.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the only theory I have. I also thought it was interesting that her Volvo looks like it was painted by the same person that painted the Iron Man armor. I don't know if anybody else picked up on that.
I didn't.
It's the same golden red.
Oh, interesting.
There you go.
Okay, I feel like I need a moment.
That was a lot.
That was a whole lot. Okay.
I do love how the last week on WandaVision now takes a full minute, because everything is coming to a head.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right about that.
Now, one thing we didn't mention before, because I missed it somehow in my notes, the stork was back.
The stork came back.
Once again, she wasn't able to control it. Once again, it had the same red smoke. Once again, I still think that that's who I said it was earlier.
Do you think she's pregnant again?
No.
No.
I
don't think so.
No.
Maybe.
I mean,
I think it's still there.
It was just an interesting thing to bring back.
There's definitely a reason for it. That's my thought on that's why, because the animal thing is such a big thing on this show. Yeah.
So that's everything I got in my notes too.
I don't have any clues on what happens next. I don't know.
I don't know where we're going from here, guys. Not a clue.
Flying blind, which is fun.
That's the joy of this show. At least that's how it's like. It's exciting to watch. To wait. I should say.
And as we're starting to wrap up this show, I just want to get people starting to get a little hyped up, because next is Winter Soldier and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Got a different cast for this one. It's going to be myself and Tyler and Skeeter and Griffin and Christina. And that's going to be a really fun cast. I'm going to miss this cast, but like with everything else, this keeps coming around. And I fall in love with every one of these mini cast groups that we do, because we get to know each other so well. It's so much fun. We have a couple more weeks of this one and
2 more episodes left.
And we were given bad information. They haven't been an hour each, were they?
It was. Yep. They said that there was a rumor that the last 3 episodes would be an hour each, but maybe it's just the last 2.
Kids.
Don't believe it. Don't do it.
Remember, you're watching WNDA.
Exactly.
It's for WandaVision.
So check out the website, www.IHeartGeekShow.com. Use the com. We paid extra for it. Go to our Discord and our Facebook and Smoke Signals, whatever else. Patreon, that's a big one. We have shows that are going up. We're covering right now. We're covering the entire Star Wars movie universe, one movie at a time. Woo! You're welcome, kids.
Even the ones that stink.
Yeah. Well, we're after next week, we're done with the ones that stink. Next week, yeah. And then it's all fantastic stuff, and then it gets bad again. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for joining us, and I hope that you liked what we had to say. Share us with your friends. It means a lot, and let people know that if they can't get into WandaVision, have them watch an episode of WandaVision and then watch whichever episode correlates, and it will help with your viewing experience.
Yeah.
Until next time, I'm Dub. I'm here with Courtney and Satomi and Chris Giorgetti. Keep on geeking on, guys.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the I Heart Geek Show. Make sure you visit our website at www.IHeartGeekShow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.